Hello and welcome to another edition of You Skip That. I'm Dan Clark.
And I'm Alex Grace.
And this is the podcast where two friends share movies with each other. Movies that the other one hasn't seen. And this week is my week. I introduced Alex to a 2016 animated movie that apparently just a lot of people didn't see. It didn't do great at the box office, which is a shame because it's got an incredible cast on it. Charlize Theron, Ralph Fiennes, who is now a two-timer.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was in Grand Budapest. George Takei for all of like 3 lines.
Oh, my.
That was one of the lines. Rooney Mara, Matthew McConaughey. We're talking about the 2016 movie Kubo and the Two Strings. I hadn't seen this since it was in the theater. I was really hoping going into it that it was still good. And I feel like it was. But what did you think?
It was so good.
It was really
It was so good. And I'm still trying not to choke up over here.
Uh-huh.
Because it leaves you on an emotional gut punch.
It does. The
Actually,
very end.
like an emotional body combo. You just feel like Muhammad Ali just went to your gut 2 or 3 times.
Yep. It's inspired by Asian culture.
No, you don't say.
I'm talking to the audience. I'm not even talking to you right now.
You weren't even looking at me, so yeah, that was ridiculous. But still.
Yeah. The movie is inspired by Asian culture. It doesn't take place anywhere in particular, and I'm not good enough with Asian culture to know if it was Japanese, Chinese, Korean, so I'm going to lay off of any such statements. But it's about an 11-year-old boy named Kubo who plays the shamisen and has magical powers from his family, as we find out. His grandfather is the moon god king.
Moon king. Yeah.
Moon king. He's the Moon King, played by Ralph Fiennes. Always great choice to pick him for a villain.
Always a great choice.
Barely in it, but he brings it when he is. And when the Moon King finds out where he is, because he's estranged from that part of his family by his mother, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, pretty much. And pretty quickly, too.
Yeah.
This movie very quickly got scarier than Paranorman, which is ostensibly supposed to be the scary one.
Which is by the same studio, by the way.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, that's not an out of left field comparison.
Yeah, so they're both Leica movies. But yeah, when the sisters showed up and all the smoke and chaos, I'm like, this is scarier than Paranorman.
This goes places pretty quickly. Yeah, he ends up getting separated from his mother and helped along by his monkey statue that has come to life.
Formerly Mr. Monkey, which turns out to be a woman.
Yep, voiced by Charlize Theron, and a beetle warrior samurai.
It makes sense in the movie.
Yeah, it is not as ridiculous as it sounds, but gorgeous movie.
Gorgeous movie. And by the way, the beetle is played by Matthew McConaughey. Which it took me a while to pick up on that. Uh-huh. I kept going, who is that? I know that voice. And then there was one sentence he said where I went, oh yeah, it's Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
It wasn't that.
No, he doesn't say that.
He put a particular twang on something, and I went, oh yeah, that's Matthew McConaughey.
There it is. And then really the only other characters of note are the sisters, both of them voiced by Rooney Mara.
So creepy. They have these porcelain masks, and so when they talk, you don't see the mouth moving.
Real wide-brimmed hats.
Yeah, very witchy looking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they have these hook chain weapons that are simultaneously awesome and terrifying.
Uh-huh. But yeah, they're going to... Kubo is aware that he has to fight his grandfather, and so he's on the quest to go find the armor that'll allow him to do that, and that's the movie, right?
Yeah, and it's not long.
No.
It's 140 minutes.
Yeah.
Or an hour and 40 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, I have the time right here. I suppose I could look. I could use the internet to my advantage.
You could, yes. We have this box that can tell us anything, and we use it to watch TikToks.
An hour and 42 minutes.
Hour and 42 minutes.
102 minutes. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It is like Paranorman. It's a stop-motion movie. And I looked into it. There's not much computer-generated going on here, I don't think. And that is mind-boggling.
Insane.
The fact that all of this is...
truly.
Yeah, all of this is stop-motion.
The little bit of behind-the-scenes that they show you in the credits of one of the more spectacular things in the movie, which is this giant skeleton that they fight on this quest to find the armor, who's in real life 15, 20 feet tall.
It's either 16 or 18 feet tall. It's the biggest, quote-unquote, miniature.
There was nothing miniature about that thing.
It's the puppet is smaller than the thing that it was meant to represent.
Yeah.
Which is the only way it's considered a miniature. It's the biggest, I think, puppet ever done for a stop-motion movie.
Incredible. Like, it was awesome to see in the movie, but it was even wilder to see behind the scenes and see these human people working on this on ladders.
Yeah. A very asymmetrical looking skeleton, which always is a little extra creepy with the glowing eyes. Yeah. Not the only creepy thing in the movie. We mentioned the sisters, the eyes underwater.
The eyes underwater were creepy, but you know what? Not terribly so. Like,
they didn't linger on them too long.
They didn't linger on them. And they had a certain almost cutesiness for something so terrifying.
Yeah. Agree to disagree there. I thought they were creepy.
They're creepy, but like, I didn't go,
yeah.
like I did at the sight of the skeleton or the sisters.
Right. Yeah, it's a fairly simple story. The movie did not do super well. Budget of $60 million, not including advertising and all that, it made 77.5.
Oof.
And yet, like, it continues making movies. I don't know where they get their money, but, you know.
And we're not going to ask.
Yeah, that's as long as you keep cranking out the movies, we're good. So let me hear more of your thoughts on it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, you kind of hit on a lot of it. Just so beautiful. The music is incredible. The voice acting is incredible. Just top to bottom, excellent movie. I will say, and maybe it's just because I have read too much and watched too much, I saw the twist coming. Like, literally as soon as the monkey showed up, I'm like, yeah, that's what's going on. That's the twist.
Did you get the beetle as well? Yeah. Okay.
Like, literally the second he showed up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
That's so-and-so, and this is so-and-so.
Yeah. Which, you know, we might as well say it. Not enough. Spoiler alert, if you don't want...
Red alert.
If you don't want an 8-year-old movie spoiled for you, definitely go
100%.
watch it. But the monkey is actually the spirit of his mother, and the beetle is not the spirit of, it's actually his father.
Yeah, cursed.
Cursed into a man-beetle form.
Man-beetle guy thing.
And robbed of his memories.
Yes, which is probably the most important detail of that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the beetle is also kind of a big deal.
It is.
Yeah. And they are helping him along this quest. I don't think I got that. I seem to remember being surprised by that, but I wasn't really looking for a twist.
I wasn't really looking for one either, but then it hit me. I saw the way the monkey was interacting with him, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's his mom.
Yeah. But both Charlize Theron and Matthew McConaughey are
spectacular.
Incredible.
Like, this is no knock. Like, that's lowercase jab.
They do a good job of, when you see his mother prior to her dying, quote unquote, she's very nurturing and soft spoken, and the monkey is very harsh.
Yeah.
So it's not like, well, of course, it's Charlize Theron. It's the same person voicing both. It's her playing two very different roles, two very different sides of the same character, but when you find out that it is the same person, it's believable that that's two sides of the same person.
Well, and his mom is struggling with a lot at the beginning, that clearly very ill from everything that's happened to her. I think the monkey is more what she was like before all that happened.
Right. I'm more covering my tracks for, you know, when I say I didn't see it coming.
Right, yeah, no.
It's not like Charlize Theron has the most recognizable voice ever either.
She can do a good job of masking it.
Yeah. She has...
If I heard her in a crowd, I wouldn't go, hey, that's Charlize Theron.
Right.
Whereas if I heard Matthew McConaughey in a crowd, I'd go, where's Matthew McConaughey?
The whole thing is a trip. It's the first time I've seen it since it was in the theater, and I was wondering if you had caught on to that twist. I noticed it didn't get a big reaction out of you, not that I was watching you all that closely. I was focused on watching the movie. But something that I hadn't considered going into this, getting a little more personal on it. Like I said, I saw this in 2016, and I've gone through some stuff in my life since then.
Same.
Yeah. This movie hits different when... Yeah, just to gloss over a little bit of peek into Dan's life. 2020 lost my mother, and this year I've lost a grandfather, a grandmother, and an uncle. Yeah. So, and the movie deals a lot with loss and strained relationships and all of that. Not that I had strained relationships with any of those family members, but as it was getting going and I realized... Like, I remembered what it was about. Like, oh no, this might have been a really bad idea. I might just be choked up through the entire show.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's the market. It was marketed as a children's movie.
Yeah.
And rightly so. I think it's got some valuable lessons for
incredibly
kids. Leica does a very good job of that. It does have valuable lessons for adults to take away as well, and it's a conversation point that they can have with their kids about loss and grieving and carrying on and all of that. I didn't look. I always look into the movie before I run an episode on it, but I didn't look far enough to cover that.
To remember,
aspect. Yeah. I mean, I remember, the monkey's the mom, the dad's the beetle, and all that, but just the way that they approach all of that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been feeling some things since that movie ended.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, to get on a totally other topic here before I start crying my eyes out and we have to pause the podcast. The action in this movie is incredible.
It is.
Fight against the skeletons, really cool. The fight between the monkey and one of the sisters on the boat.
And the boat starts collapsing and everything. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's very cool. The fight with the grandfather.
Yeah.
Is very cool.
Yeah.
And all of those are moments where I was sitting there like, how is this stop motion?
Like, no joke. The whole time I'm like, surely some of this has to be CG. And then you find out, next to none of it is.
Like, they took out, there's some machinery behind the skeleton that you see in the mid-credits thing that it's green screened.
Yeah, it's high-tech rotoscoping, basically. It's not, it's not Shrek. Mm-hmm. It's Wallace and Gromit, but they're doing kung fu.
Yeah.
Instead of just, waving their arms around and
begging for cheese.
Ralph
Fiennes is actually in the Wallace and Gromit movie.
Yeah, the Curse the Were-Rabbit.
Yeah. Loves me some Wallace
I like
and Gromit.
stop motion, man.
When it's done like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this. I love the Aardman movies. Mm-hmm. And I think it started at a very young age. My grandma got me the VHS set of the 3 Wallace and Gromit specials, and I watched those on repeat.
I didn't see Wallace and Gromit until I was in junior high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware of them. Not Wallace and Gromit, but it was one of those Christmas specials that you see once.
Yep.
And never see again, but we happened to videotape it when it was on. It was just called Claymation Christmas.
Huh.
That I loved, and it was the first time I was really aware of claymation.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of what it was and all of that, but until I was a little older and realized, it's just little Play-Doh guys that you move a little bit and then you take a picture and a little bit more and take a picture. Yeah, it's like a hour long special. It has California raisins in it.
There you go.
But that's where my intro to claymation was at, in Gumby.
Gumby, yeah.
I watched Gumby as a kid. That's where I got on with claymation, and it's not been like a love affair with it. There's not enough of it to...
Yeah. You forget about it for a while, and then all of a sudden a new movie comes along from Leica, or somebody brings up Chicken Run, and you're like,
Chicken Run,
well, I am so going to watch Chicken Run this weekend.
And the folks at Leica are taking it to
a whole other level.
A whole different... This is not Wallace and Gromit.
No.
Not that there's anything... It's not even...
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not at all.
God forbid.
Wallace and Gromit is just doing what they've always done.
Yeah.
They're just here to make a goofy little cartoon. Leica is trying to elevate the art form. Yeah, I was going to do this movie a lot later, and then when we did Paranorman, you were just over the moon for it.
Yes.
And I went, well, I had the excuse to watch Kubo and the Two String.
Yeah, it's funny. It feels like movie-wise you've been on a real hot streak, and I somewhat intentionally have not.
Yeah, it occurs to me that 2 of the last 3 movies you've shown me are Teen Wolf and Twilight.
Look, okay, you're the one who wanted to do a Halloween month, and I don't like horror movies. We had to work with what we had.
Maybe next year I'll just take over October, and you can take over November or something like that.
Okay, yeah. It'll be like Alex screams into a pillow for all of October.
I didn't show you anything like...
We'll just do really saccharine stuff all through November as brainwash.
Yeah, palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I didn't show you anything that scary.
No. But that's what I'm saying. You were on an absolute hot streak the last few movies, because Hellboy was incredible. Mm-hmm. Paranorman, incredible. Mm-hmm. Wait Until Dark, incredible. Yeah. Batman, incredible. Yeah. This, incredible. Yeah. I mean, I'm learning all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, even watching the trailer on this, like, one of the first shots of the trailer that I'm thinking of is when Monkey wakes Kubo up and it's real windy and snowy.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the hair on her is moving.
Yeah.
Which anyone who's ever done anything with stop motion knows sometimes it's hard to make the most basic of movements, just like walking, not look herky-jerky. And so the fact that they have the fur on this monkey blowing in the wind, and it looks fairly natural.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So I'm looking forward to seeing more from Leica. They're powerhouses in this industry. Not that there's a whole lot of competition in the stop motion field, but
right.
If there was, they'd still be head and shoulders over it. It's weird. It's like I see them upping their game every time, and I think you're not staying ahead of anyone. You're not getting out there ahead of anyone. It's just you in this field, and occasionally Aardman. You're allowed to just phone it in a little bit. So do you have any other thoughts?
Oh, man, it's funny. It almost seems like the better the movie is, the harder it is to come up with stuff for this podcast. Because I'm like a little shell-shocked by how good the movie is. And I have a hard time voicing things.
I didn't think While My Guitar Gently Weeps, played on a shamisen by Regina Spektor, was going to be as much of a banger as it is.
It is. It's a banger.
Yeah.
Like, I heard the first couple notes of it, and I'm like, well, this is While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And then I went, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. That plays over the end credits, and it's a banger.
Yeah.
With beautiful, like, Japanese ink drawing scenes from the movie and just kind of scenes around the movie. Like, you see the villagers who don't play a huge part in the story, just kind of going about their day, doing various things.
Yeah. And this is one that I pointed out to Megan before we started watching this. At the end, when he strings his shamisen up again, he uses his mother's hair, his father's bowstring, and then one of his own hairs.
Yeah.
So it's actually strung up with Kubo and the two
and
strings.
The two strings. Yeah. I caught that. I was like, that's really neat.
Yeah.
That is really neat.
Not realistic, but...
No.
But why are we looking at this movie for realism?
Okay, so, like, magically, he plays his shamisen and paper turns into origami, which we haven't even talked about. That is so cool.
It is.
It is incredible. And the way the effect is done is really neat. Just kind of this hurricane of paper.
Yeah.
And then it turns into a flock of birds, or a little samurai guy, or a bunch of little samurai guys.
Yeah. Yeah, if you played D&D and you've ever wondered, like, what's the big deal about being a bard? Kubo's a bard.
Yeah,
That's
Kubo's a bard.
Yeah, Megan pointed that out to me. I hadn't thought of that. I just wasn't thinking this in D&D terms. But, yeah, it's a movie about a bard. And in the end, again, spoilers, it's like the last 5-10 minutes of the movie. It's interesting that this armor and the sword and everything that he's been questing the entire movie for, he casts aside in favor of his music.
Yeah.
To really express himself and save the day. Which does lead to a slightly problematic bit there at the end where he just erases the villain's memory and they go, we'll just make him a good person now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that kind of came about. Some people had problems with the end of WandaVision. Like, oh, okay. Well, first off, what happens if he gets his memories back?
Yeah.
Then we're all in for a world of hurt, though it's not really clear if he's lost his powers as well, or if he just has forgotten that he has them.
It kind of looked like he had.
It did, yeah. He looked like a normal person there.
And, I mean, he was fully not human before, so it's not like he was a human man who ascended to this power.
Right.
He was like an otherworldly being. Yeah, I can see why some people might have a problem with that, but I think it was more about nature versus nurture. Is kind of a, if we show this man kindness, will he be a kind man kind of thing.
Yeah. It is also weird how the entire village goes, all right, guys, everyone hop in on this.
We need to brainwash this old guy into thinking he's the nicest guy in the village.
Especially, like, the second person to jump in on it is the little girl.
Yeah.
She's like, nope, I got it. You know, we've run the drills. If ever the personification of the moon comes down as an evil spirit and has his memory wiped, we've all had the Moon Man drill. They all fall in line pretty quickly. Again, not like that's barely an issue. And, you know, you don't really look to something like this for realism, but it is kind of funny. Like,
yeah.
Wow, that 7-year-old girl just hopped on the lying to the old man train real fast.
That girl has a great future as a con person, or as a con artist.
I don't remember any controversy around that when it came out, but then again, like 7 people saw it.
Yeah. Not enough people saw it for there to be a controversy. Yeah.
Seriously, people. First off, if you're just going through and listening to every episode here and you just went, it's Kubo and the 2 strings, I'll listen to this episode. First off, thank you so much for just, going through the catalog here.
Hopping in.
But go, see it. Watch it, pay money for it. This is, it's art. It really is. And I'll bang the drum all day long. Film is art. Not all art is good, but all art is art. All movies are some form of art. This is
really good.
This should be taught.
I'm not nearly as artistically minded as Dan is when it comes to movies. This is just good.
Yeah.
And it's just a good movie. Like, there's no... a lot of times when somebody say, oh, this movie's art, and you sit down and it's like pretentious nonsense.
Yeah.
This is just good.
It's like coming from a film background. Citizen Kane is a really, really good movie. But I hate showing it to people because you've heard for years how...
It's the best movie ever.
Yeah. This one, it's kind of nice that it hasn't been overhyped through the years because it's not like this is... If you're into animation, this is the,
It's the Citizen Kane of movies made with little clay people.
So I'm not gonna hype it up like that. It does have a couple issues. The beginning does drag a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially if you know where it's going, like on a second viewing, it kind of drags. So
get to the monkey already.
Get to the monkey and the beetle dude. Yeah. I want Beetleborgs in my movie. How's that for a throwback reference?
No kidding, man. Wow.
I want to see the Skeleman,
Yeah.
Yeah, it has moments where it drags. It does feel like they brought George Takei in to be like, see, we do have a Japanese guy in this movie.
Yeah.
Like
it does feel a little bit like that.
Then when he's there, they're like, say the thing.
Say the thing.
Say the thing. Say oh my. Yeah, it also feels like it could be a bit longer.
Oh, that was my first thought, because we had to take our traditional bathroom break.
Mm-hmm.
And
we usually hit it about halfway through the movie.
Yeah. And we paused the movie, and I looked at where the cursor was, and I was like, we only got like 25 more minutes of this. Mm. I could sit through this for another hour.
Yeah. And, there is something to be said for a movie that doesn't overstay its welcome.
Right, yeah.
But it does feel like they could have done more.
Give me just one more shenanigan with
the
monkey and the beetle and Kubo.
Yeah.
Like, just a tiny bit more.
Yeah. Could always do with more Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
Who seriously does not show up until 3/4 of the way through the movie.
Yeah.
Which, it's fine. You put the villain in where the villain belongs, but I can always do with more Ralph Fiennes.
Right.
Especially as a villain.
Mm-hmm.
I say that, but he was also my favorite part of Grand Budapest.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
If you haven't listened to the Grand Budapest episode, first off, go watch it. It's a movie really, really worth watching. But then, go back and listen to that one, too. That's one of my favorite episodes that we've done.
Yeah, it just gets truly unhinged.
It does.
At one point, we're talking about the Wikipedia of a SpongeBob video game.
That's right. I forgot about
that. That is a conversation that comes up in that.
Yeah, yeah. A question I like to ask you, and I feel like we've probably already addressed this, but I'll say it just to get it out there. Feel like you're going to watch this again?
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
In fact, here's how much I am going to watch it again.
Uh-huh.
I will absolutely watch this again.
There it is.
That was an intentional jar.
Intentional one, yeah.
Tink.
As an added level of rewatchability, is this a sale movie or is this pay full price movie?
This might be a pay full price movie.
Nice, yeah.
Which, so far, I would say the only other movie you've shown me that is fully a pay full price, like bought it the same weekend we watched it, was Grand Budapest.
Grand Budapest, not Chicago?
Now, Chicago's a funny one because I would have bought it full price, but it happened to be on sale because the week we recorded it, that TikTok trend started.
Uh-huh.
Of everybody doing they both reach for the gun dance. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, this is a happy coincidence.
Yeah.
I'll buy this movie I loved for $5.
Right. It's not about what you did pay. It's what you would have.
Yeah, I would have paid full price.
Okay. Cool.
I'd say those two, Batman, I'd buy full price. I don't have to because I have an HBO Max subscription.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to watch it on there. I actually wanted to pitch that same question to you.
Okay.
What movies have I shown you that you would pay full price for, if any?
Let me look up the list here. Let's see.
For the record, I didn't have to look at the list. Just saying.
We're also not doing your I wasn't thinking of your stuff. Bullet Train, I believe I did pay full price.
Yeah. Quality.
Bullet Train.
High
Yeah,
quality.
that was good. Fish Called Wanda. I think I own most of...
Yeah, you've owned most of them through my suggestions before the podcast.
I don't know what it is, but you seem to have a taste in movies that go on sale really often. So I do
Yeah.
own most of them. I don't own Twilight. We rented that one.
Yeah.
I don't want... That's how rumors get started.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would describe a wide swath of my movie watching taste as either was or would be today on a basic cable channel.
There is...
In the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday.
And I don't like, I've liked most of what you've shown me, so I don't mean this as an insult. You do have kind of a bargain bin value.
Oh, yeah.
To your movies.
Do you know where most of the movies in my family's DVD collection came from? Movie gallery sales.
Movie gallery, yeah.
Yeah. We would go to Movie Gallery when they had the, 5 for $20 sale, and we'd buy, 25 movies.
Yeah. I worked at Movie Gallery. I remember people like you.
Yeah.
I was sitting there after a long day at work thinking, man, I just got to coast through for a little bit longer. And then a family comes in and slaps down 25 movies that I have to check and clean and box and everything.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. That's why they paid me the big bucks.
It is. And obviously some things, that's how I saw Spider-Man for the first time. We talked about this during the Batman episode. My parents were not comic book people at all.
See, my parents weren't either. I don't know why I had a VHS copy of Batman as a kid, because neither of my parents are big into comics.
I think that's where I discovered Stick It,
Okay.
which we watched last week. There's a couple movies that are still coming up that are from that era.
Right.
There's just a wide range of everything from hits that we'd somehow missed to, they made a movie about this. Okay.
Yeah. Working there, I discovered a lot of stuff. I don't know that I have any of it on the list. Anyways, you want to tell them where you can find us on socials?
Oh, where you can find us on the socials. You can find us on Facebook. Just type in the words, "you skip that," ? Like actually a question mark. Don't spell out question mark.
No.
Yeah. Then on TikTok, Threads, and Instagram, you skip that. All one word, no capitalization, no question mark. I always tell people on Instagram, make sure you tune in at 4 o'clock on Wednesdays. That's 4 o'clock Eastern time. I post a single frame from the next movie we're going to be covering on the podcast and give people a chance to guess.
I'm going to have to take a look. I'll be interested to see what you grab from this one.
Yeah, this one's going to be tricky. There are a lot of good choices. Batman was really hard because almost everything I looked at was really iconic, and I was like, I have to find the most boring frame of this whole movie to make this a challenge. There's a couple of times where I'm like, oh, I've picked a hard one, and they go, boom, this. I'm like, wow, okay.
It's like, I know you used to play, I still play Framed.
Oh, I loved Framed.
And they started
Then they went on a streak of just the most obscure foreign films, and I'm like, well, this isn't fun for me anymore.
They had one day, it was one of the days where my wife happened to be looking over my shoulder when the first frame popped up. I went, oh, that's The Mask. How did you know that? I'm like, that's the Cuban Pete scene.
Yeah.
I'm a 90s kid. Don't mess around with me and Cuban Pete. I know what I'm looking at.
Here's how iconic that scene is. I've never seen The Mask all the way through. That scene is etched in my head.
Yeah. We'll discuss that off mic and see if that's one that maybe we need to
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
That'll be for another week. And speaking of another week, we'll see you next week where Alex will find something to possibly inflict on me.
I think it's not a bad one. I can't actually remember off the top of my head right now, but we'll find out next week, won't we?
We will, yeah. But until then, I'm Dan Clark.
And I'm Alex Grace.
And this has been You Skip That.
Bye-bye.
Bye.